Welcome to the MSJC Internet Authoring Videocast.
In this video, you will be learning how to complete Review Assignment 6. In Review Assignment 6, Kyle, our client, has reviewed our work on the DLR Nightly Schedule page, and he wants us to make a few changes to the layout and apply those changes to the new pages that describe the DLR Morning Schedule. Kyle already has entered much of the web page content and style. He wants you to complete his work by creating and designing the web table listing the times and the programs for the morning schedule. In the figure that we see here, this is going to be the page that we'll be completing. So notice that it has a 3-column structure set up for the paragraph text under the heading DLR Morning Schedule. And then underneath of that, you see the table where we have a particular color assigned to the time column, and then another color set up for the weekday grouping, and another color set up for the weekend grouping. And within the table head, we just have a darker version of the color for each of those groupings. And then here in the footer, we have the text, "Support your public radio station," and then a caption at the bottom of the table that reads, "All Times Central." So to get us started, we're going to open up in our Visual Studio these 3 files, dlr_mornings_txt.html, dlr_tables2_txt.css, and dlr_column_columns2_txt.css. So here is the columns2 file. Here is the mornings file, and then here is the tables2 file. Put our name and date in each one of these. I'll just copy that so I can paste it in the other 2 files. And then we want to do our file save as and get rid of the _txt, and then repeating that process for the other 2 files here. Save as, removing _txt for the mornings.html page. And then finally we have our columns2 here. Save it as columns2 without the _txt. And we'll be starting in the mornings file here, the HTML file. You'll see in step 2 it tells us to go into the mornings file and then insert the links for the tables2 CSS and the columns2 CSS style sheets. Back in our dlr_mornings.html file, you can see that we already have 2 links that were added previously for this particular HTML page. So we've got the reset2.css and the styles2. So right under styles2 there, that's we'll add the reference for tables2 and columns2. Save our work there. In step 3 now, Kyle wants us to scroll down into the HTML file, and directly below the paragraph element, insert a web table with the class name of programs. So here is the paragraph element. So inside of the section, right under the paragraph there, we'll go ahead and add a table element with a class equal to programs. And in step 4 now, we need to add a table caption which reads "All Times Central." So just right after our opening table tag here, we'll add a caption, and that reads "All Times Central," each word being capped. In step 5 now, below the caption, we're going to insert a call group element containing 3 columns. The first call element inside of the call group will be given a class name of time column. The second call element will have the class name of day columns for weekday columns, and it'll span 5 columns. within our table. And that'll be the grouping that'll contain the weekday programs. And then the last call element should have the class name of WN column, so weekend columns, and that'll span the last two columns that'll contain the weekend programming. So first, underneath of the caption here, we need to create the call group element. And then inside of the call group element, we'll add those three call elements, C-O-L, not C-A-L-L, short for column. And then we named the first column, or gave it the class, I should say, of the name time column. The second call element has been classed as W days columns, and we gave that a span of 5 to cover the 5 weekdays. And then the third call element classed as WN columns and a span value of 2 to cover the remaining 2 columns. Next, we add the T-head row group element containing a single table row with TH elements containing the text shown in figure 6-48, which is back here on the previous page, this image that we were looking at previously. So it's just time in the first column, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all abbreviated to 3-character abbreviations, and then Saturday and Sunday. So we'll start right under the call group, add our T-head, and then in the T-head now we need to add a table row, and then in the table row we'll add the TH elements that will have the time header for the time column, and then the days of the week abbreviated to 3 characters each. So inside of the T row, we've got a TH element now for the first column, which is the time column, and then the 7 days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll save that change. We're up to step 7 now, where Kyle wants us to add a T-foot row group element containing a single row with a single TD element that spans 8 columns. So that would be the time column in the 7 weekday columns, and contains the text that reads, "Support your public radio station." So that's going to be right after our T-head element. It's important that when you use a T-head and a T-foot element that you want the T-foot to follow the T-head. You might expect to put the T-body there. If you do, then that would not be correct. So it's T-head first, T-foot second, and then T-body. So in the T-foot, we also need to have a T-row that we then add a TD, so a table cell with a call span equal to 8. And the text in between then is going to read, "Support your public radio station." Save that change. On step 8 now, we'll add the T-body row group element containing the times and the names of the different DLR programs that are being run on the station from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Sunday in half-hour intervals. The time should be placed in the TH elements and the program names in TD elements. We'll also create row and column spanning cells to match the layout of the days and the times that are shown in figure 648. So let's go back and take a look at that and just see that when we put in the TH elements for the time column, there won't be any row spans or column spans because they're half-hour increments here. So each of these TD or THs will have a half-hour time. So 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30, on and on. But when we put the actual names of the shows in here, we're going to have to use column spans. So for instance, this Dawn Air, it occurs 5 days a week. So you'll have to have a call span of 5 a value with a value of 5 in there so that we get the cell to be 5 columns wide. And then also Dawn Air is on the air for 2 hours, so that's 4 half-hour periods. So there we're going to need a row span of 4 to be able to have that cell cover the 2 hours that that show is on the air. So that's what they're talking about when they talk about implementing the row spans and the call spans. The call spans will be for covering the number of days of the week that the show occurs, and then the row spans will use that to reflect the number of half hours that those shows are on the air. So as we just said, a 2-hour show, it's going to actually have a row span of 4. A half-hour show won't have any row span. It's just going to be covering one row. And then if you look at the weekend, you'll see that we have a couple of shows that are 1 hour long, so that's 2 half-hour time periods. So that means row span of 2. So we're going underneath of the T foot, adding our T body. And now for our first row, we'll go ahead and add the TR element. And let's go back and look at this graphic again, just to get it in our mind what this should look like. So for the very first row, we're going to have a TH that will be a value of 5. Then we'll follow that by a TD that'll have a row span of 4, that covers the 2-hour period, and has a call span of 5, the 5 days of the week. Then there will be another TD after that, that will be for the Saturday Dawn Air Weekend show. So that's going to have a row span of 4 also, because it's on 2 hours, but it only occurs on Saturdays, 1 day. So there's no call span there, only the row span of 4. And then the same thing on the Sunday magazine here. It only covers 1 day, so there's not going to be any call span there. But we'll need to add a row span for that. That'll be a value of 2 because it's on for 1 hour on Sunday. So here are the elements then for that first row. So again, we've got the TH, that basically a TH will bold the text, and so that's why we're using the TH there. That represents the time that the program begins. And then we've got the row span of 4, so that's the 2-hour period, 4 half-hour slots, and then it's also on 5 days a week, so we've got a call span of 5 there, and then the title that's being displayed for the show, which is the name of the show, Dawn Air. And then remember, after that, we have the Saturday show of Dawn Air Weekends. It's also a 2-hour show, so it has a row span of 4. And then on Sunday, we had the Sunday magazine show, and that was on for an hour. Let's save that change. So realize that we're working on step 8 now by just going through the diagram and identifying the call spans and the row span values for in all the names of the shows that we need to place into that table. So I'm not going to keep coming back to this. We just want to stay on this image here. So we covered 5. We covered Dawn Air. We covered Dawn Air Weekends. We covered Sunday Magazine. Now we go back to the left again. Now what we need to do is just add a row that has the time 5:30. So that's going to be a TR for the row and then a TH for the time value, and then we put in the time value between the open and closing TH there. So that gives us the second half hour in that table, that time column. Now we need to add the 6 o'clock hour. So that'll be another table row with a TH of 6. But then notice we do have a show that begins at 6, which is the Weekend Reflections. So we'll add a TH for the 6, the time that's represented in that column there in the time column, 6 a.m. And then we'll add a TD for the Weekend Reflections show, and then that'll need to have a row span of 2 because it's on for an hour. So let me line that table row up there. And then we'll go ahead and add the next table row. As I said, inside of that table row, we're going to have a TH for the time, 6 a.m., and then we also add a TD element, row span of 2, because it's on for an hour, and then the name of the show, which is Weekend Reflections. So we just did 6, and we added Weekend Reflections. Now we go back to the left again, and we have to add the 6:30 time, and there is no show that begins at 6:30, so all we need to do is just add that 6:30 time. So it'll be a TR for the row, and then a TH for the time, and that's all we need to put in that row. So just going below the previous row, adding in the new row, and in the new row, we've got the TH with the 6:30 value inside of it. Back to our diagram. Now we've got 7 p.m. So we start a new row. We'll have a TH for 7 p.m., then a TD for local news. No row span here because it's only half hour, but it is on 5 days a week, so we'll have to have a call span value of 5 there. And then we'll want to add a TD for weekend wrap. That's on for an hour, so that's a row span of 2. Call span won't be any call span, it's just a 1 day width. And then we'll add also another TD for Radio U. It will also need a row span of 2. Both those shows are on for an hour. So again, going below the closing TR tag there, adding our new TR, new row. TH begins the row with the time, 7 o'clock. Then we've got the local news, which is a 5-day show, so it's got a call span of 5 in the TD. And then we get to the weekend, so Saturday is weekend wrap, and it's on for an hour, so we apply a row span there of 2. Same thing for Radio U. On Sunday, it's on for an hour, so a row span of 2. So we've completed the 7 o'clock hour. Now we're down to 7:30, so we start a new row, put in a TH for 7:30. We'll put in a TD for World News Feed that has a column span of 5 because it's 5 days a week. And we already have the weekend wrap and the Radio U show cells in the HTML coding, so we don't need to add anything after that. So it's just going to be a TH for the 7:30, a TD for the World News Feed, and then we'll come back and start the row for the 8 o'clock. So adding the new row under the previous row. There you see our TH, 7:30, and then the World News, which is a half-hour show, on 5 days a week, so we gave the TD a call span of 5. Save the change. We're up to the 8 o'clock hour now, so a new row, TH for the 8 o'clock, and then a TD for classical roots, which is going to be a row span of 4 since it's on for 2 hours, and a call span of 5 because it runs 5 days a week. Then we'll add a TD for this show, What Can You Say? It's only on 1 day a week, so no call span, but it is on for an hour and a half, so we'll use a row span value of 3 for 3 half hours. 1.5 hours total, right? And then we follow that up with a TD for this University on the Air, and that is a 2-hour show, so that one will have a row span of 4. Just like before, after the last, or the closing TR for our last row there, we add our new row. So we've got the TH with the 8 o'clock hour, followed by a TD, which is our row span of 4. It's a 2-hour show, call span of 5. It's on 5 days a week. Name of the show, Classical Roots. Then on Saturday, we have a TD with a row span of 3 because this show's on for an hour and a half. Its title is What Can You Say? And then on Sunday, we have a show that's 2 hours long, so a row span of 4 there. The name of the show, University on the Air. Save that. So we've done 8 o'clock, and these 3 shows here, the Classical Roots, What Can You Say, and University on the Air. So we need to start a new row now and just simply put in a TH for 8:30, and then another new row that'll have a TH with the value of 9. And then when we get to 9:30 here, we will have to add this Animal Talk show for Saturday. So 8:30 is just going to be a table row with a TH of 8:30, and 9 is going to be just a table row with a TH of 9. Since that's a little bit simpler, I'm just going to add both rows in there at the same time. So there's the row with the TH of 8:30, and then a row underneath of that with the TH of 9. We'll save that. Now we're up to 9:30. And in the 9:30 hour, we start a row. We'll have a TH for the 9:30 time, and then we'll need to put in Animal Talk here with a row span of 3 because it also is an hour-and-a-half show. And this University Air was 2 hours, so it's still taking up this spot at the end of that row. So underneath the previous closing tag for the previous row, we add our new row, TH of 9:30, and then for that Saturday show, we add a TD with a row span of 3 and its name Animal Talk. We'll save that, move on to the 10 o'clock hour. At 10 o'clock, we have Symphony City. It's a 2-hour show, so we'll have the T row, or TR for the row, TH for the 10 a.m., and then a TD for Symphony City, which is going to have a row span of 4 and a call span of 5 because it's on every day of the week, every weekday. But then also now another show is starting here on Sunday, which is Wordplay, and that's a half-hour show, so no row span or column span for that. 1 day and 1 half hour. So we've got a TR with a TH, a TD, which is row span 4, call span 5, and then another TD, which is just going to be Wordplay. So again, before the closing body, after the closing TR, the last closing TR that we've got so far, there's the new row with the TH of 10, the TD, row span 4, call span 5, name of the show, Symphony City, and then that show on Sunday, which is Wordplay, which is on half an hour and just the 1 day. Save that, Control S. We're up to 10:30 now. We've already got Symphony City covering this space here, and Animal Talk continuing to cover the space here. So we're just going to add, in addition to the 10:30 hour, we're going to add the show name Brain Stew in a TD. So right below the closing TR there, you add the new TR element. Inside of that, TH for 10:30, and then TD for the Brain Stew show. It's only half hour long, only on Sundays. Save it. We're up to 11 o'clock now. In the 11 o'clock hour, we'll add a TR, start the row. TH will have the time, 11. We don't need to add anything for this space here because the Symphony City row span is still taking up all of that space along with the column span. But then on Saturday, we do have this opera live from the East Coast starting up. So we'll have a TD for that show, and it's on for an hour and a half. So that'll be a row span of 3. And then there's another half-hour show here on Sunday, so it doesn't have any row span or any column span. Just going to have the name, The Inner Mind. Again, inserting after the final TR that we have there, the last TR that we added. So there is the new TR, the new row with the TH of 11, the TD row span equal to 3 for the opera live from the East Coast, so that's the Saturday show, and then the Sunday show, The Inner Mind, also in a TD. Save it. We're up to 11:30. At 11:30, nothing changing here. We'll need to have a TR to start the row. We'll have the TH for the 11:30, but we have a show on Sunday, Grammar Rules, that's just 1 day and 1 half hour, so no row spans or call spans needed there. So below the previous row, we insert the 11:30 row with the TH value of 11:30 and the TD Grammar Rules, the Sunday show. That's all that's needed there. Save it. We'll take a look at the noontime hour now. There we started with a row, so TR, TH after that for the time. We'll have a TD that has no row span. It's just a half hour long, but does have a call span of 5 because it's 5 days a week. We've already got the opera live here, so then we just have to add this one last show on Sunday, which is a half hour long, so no row span or call span there, just putting in the name Weekend Wrap. Okay, so there's the last row with the TH of 12, TD for the book club show, which is on each day of the week, so it's covering a call span of 5, and then the Sunday show, which is the Weekend Wrap. So we'll save that. Let's go ahead and preview this in the browser now. Make sure that everything is looking pretty well aligned here. And once we assign the lines to it and the color backgrounds, we'll be able to see ourselves a little bit better. But this looks okay so far. So all of that was step 8. Now we want to go into the DLR_tables2 CSS file, go to the tables section in that file, and then create a style rule for the programs table. That'll set the width of the table to 100%, add a 15 pixel outset border with a color value of RGB 151, 151, 151, defines the borders so that they are collapsed around the table, and sets the font family to the font stack of Arial, Verdana, and sans serif. So we're going to switch over to DLR_tables2 now, the CSS file, and here where it has the section table styles, we'll add a rule that targets that table with the class of programs. So table.programs. All these declarations are targeting the entire table. So then we set up the border for a 15 pixel outset with an RGB color of 151, 151, 151. The border collapse is set to collapse. So that means that there won't be lines in every row and every column. Where we've got the row spans and the col spans, it'll display the shows appropriately without any lines running through the show names or the show boxes. Our font family is set up to Arial, Verdana, sans serif, and we set the width to 100%, so it's going to be 100% the width of the container that it's inside of. We'll save that. Back to our instructions now. In step 11, we'll create a style rule that sets the height of every table row to 25 pixels. So that's a pretty easy one. If we want to target table rows, we just use the TR tag. So that's our selector, and then we set the height property to a value of 25px. In step 12, we'll create a style rule for every TH and TD element that A, adds a 1 pixel solid gray border, B, aligns the cell content with the top of the cell, and C, sets the padding space to 5 pixels. So we're targeting all of the TH and the TDs here, so those are our selectors, TH, TD. We set up the border for each cell to be 1 pixel solid gray. We want to have the contents be vertically aligned to the top and padding all the way around of 5 pixels. Step 13 now, we'll go to the table caption styles section in the style sheet and create a style rule that places the caption element at the bottom of the table and centered horizontally. So you might recall that, whoops, let's see, let me paste this down here. I put that in the wrong section. That should be up underneath the table row declaration. Okay, so anyway, the caption element, you remember, is what we use to add the caption to the table. So that becomes the selector, the caption element. And then it's just simply a text-align property of center, and then the caption side is set to bottom. In 14 now, we'll go to the table column style section. And for all of the call elements belonging to the time column class, we'll create a style rule that sets the column width to 10% and the background color to the value of RGB 215, 205, 151. You might recall that we classed that column as time column, so we're using the element name, COL, and then dot for the class name, time column, setting its background color to that RGB color, and then setting its width to 10%. Step 15 now, for the call elements that are classed with WDay columns, we'll create a style rule that sets the column width to 11% and the background color to RGB 236, 255, 211. So just like we did with the time column, we'll use COL, the element name, and then dot, the class name, which is WDay columns, And this time the background color is RGB 236, 255, 211, and the width of that column is 11%. Save the change. In step 16 now, for the call elements where the class is WEnd columns, we'll create a style rule that sets the column width to 17% and the background color to RGB 255, 231, 255. Again, we're using the call element followed by the class name. This class name is WEnd columns. Width is set to 17% in this one, and then the background color RGB 255, 231, 255. In step 17 now, Kyle wants us to format the table heading cells from the table header row. So we'll go to the table header style section in the style sheet, create a style rule to set the font color of the text within the T-head element to white and the background color to a medium green with a value of RGB 105, 177, 60. So we're down in the table header section of our style sheet. We're going to use T-head as the selector. So this is going to format the entire head with a foreground color of white, so the text will all be white, and a background color of RGB 105, 177, 60. Step 18 now, it says that the different cells in the table header row should be formatted with different text and background colors. So we're going to be using the first of type pseudo class to create a style rule that changes the background color of the first TH element within the T-head element to RGB 153, 86, 7. So our selector again is going to be the T-head selector, but this time we're narrowing it down to the first of type of the TH element. So the pseudo class for the TH element is first of type. And then we're setting its background color to RGB 153, 86, and 7. In 19, step 19, we'll use the nth of type pseudo class to create style rules that change the background color of the 7th and 8th TH elements within the T-head element to RGB. So that'll be for the weekend cells, weekend T-heads. In other words, Saturday and Sunday. So again, we begin the selector with T-head, but this time TH nth of type, and then 7, comma, and then repeat that all again, and then do it for the 8th T-head or TH element. So that's for Saturday and Sunday. The first of type, that would be for the time column, whereas this original background color here is going to be for the weekday columns. Now in step 20, Kyle wants the table footer to be formatted in a different text and background color from the rest of the table. So we want to go to the table footer styles section, create a style rule for the T-foot element that sets the font color to white and the background color to black. So into the table footer style section, T-foot is the selector. We want the foreground color to be white, so color property, :white, and then background dash color, :black. Now in step 22, we're going to want to return to the columns to style sheet. And in there, Kyle wants the introductory paragraph to appear in a 3-column layout for desktop devices. Within the column style section, we'll create a media query for screen devices with a minimum width of 641 pixels. So we're switching over to DLR_columns2, the style sheet. Under this heading here, column styles, we're using an @media rule here to define when this paragraph kicks in. So when this screen is the device type, remember we don't need only, that's just backwards compatibility for Internet Explorer. So screen is the type, and then min width, so the minimum width, 641 pixels. So anytime we're on a screen that's bigger than 640 pixels, then this rule is going to apply, which is the paragraph will be divided into a column count of 3 with a gap of 20 pixels between each column, and then a rule also between each column of 1 pixel solid black. And then we just got the Mozilla and WebKit vendor specific properties also listed in there. So let's save that. Let's go back now and preview our DLR_mornings HTML page in our browser. And that is what we should be looking at. So we've got the DLR morning schedule here with the 3-column paragraph with the 20 pixel gap, the vertical rule, and then the time column. Notice that it has a different color as far as the header is concerned as the TH row, the T head row. Same thing for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the weekday heads, THs within the T head row. And the same thing, also a difference for the weekend day heads, Saturday and Sunday there in the T head row. And then each of the TH values here in time, the half-hour values in that lighter brownish kind of color there. Then each of the weekday shows in kind of the lighter green color, and then each of the weekend shows in that lighter kind of purplish color or violet color. And then down at the bottom here, we've got the footer with the white text on the black background, and our caption is at the bottom of the table and it's centered. So that's all you need to know to complete Review Assignment 6. Until next time, happy coding. If you liked this video, please click the like button and leave us a comment down below. I also would appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos are posted.